So we are here with Deputy Master Sergeant. What is it? What is it? What is the correct title?
Master Deputy Blackwell. Master Deputy Blackwell.
Master Deputy Blackwell, who so happens to be our beloved SRO for Winters Mill High School. So I first want to say thank you so much for doing this interview. This is something that is totally new to me, so I'm going to give it a go and try to make it happen. But we want to try to celebrate Black History Month. It is also CTE month. So I felt like you were the perfect person when I talked about, doing this for the first time. You were the first person that popped up in my mind. So I was like, Deputy Blackwell can be the guinea pig. We're going to make this happen. So I got some questions for you. So I hope you're ready.
Okay.
All right. So what is your current job title? You kind of said that, but if you could say it again, and what does that entail? Also, how long have you been doing or been at your current position?
Well, a master deputy, basically you've mastered, I guess your spot now for being a deputy. The next step up would be a corporal and other supervisory positions or indifferent. However, I'm kind of low level, so rookies and people that would be under me could ask questions and different things like that, and I'd be able to answer and direct in the way I guess they should go with whatever. I've been doing this now for 8 years. Yeah, just 8 years. 8 years altogether. I was
only
thinking it was 8 years and some months, but it's 8 years altogether, I think. I think it is. Yeah.
All right. So tell me a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up? How was your upbringing? Like, what were you like in high school? Like, tell me a little bit about those things.
Well, basically, I'm sorry. I'm a resident of Baltimore County. I'm still working currently. I'm a resident of Baltimore County. I was raised by a single mom. My single mom is also my adoptive mom. I don't really have much, I guess, for that. However, she made sure that I turned out to be the best person that I could be due to other circumstances that other people from coming from my background would not have had. Both of my parents were drug users. I'm not real in touch with them to to determine whether how they're doing or indifferent, but for the most part, high school, I was a okay student with rewards. I would say my mom would say, hey, if you get A's, we can do this, or I can get this, or indifferent. So I was highly motivated by reward. I would say I was a great student, kind of a class clown, a leader, all in the same. Never willing to follow the crowd. Let's say that. And what else? I don't know. All around, I mean, I got great grades. I wasn't like a horrible student or indifferent. I mean, I did stuff, but I wasn't a horrible student. But I mean, if you talk to teachers and principals, maybe they have a little different perspective. But for me, I didn't think I was a horrible student.
No, it's right down the road. So I mean, I can go. We can find out real quick.
I mean, you can. You definitely can, because a lot of them are still currently working. And it's crazy. My daughter is going to embark. Well, she's going to middle school when the pandemic and everything else is not what it is. But a lot of the teachers and things like that are still at these schools that taught me. So it'll be cool for her to see teachers that taught her mom.
Awesome. So. Well, and the reason why I asked that question is because obviously being in high school, you're working here every day. I mean, kids are gonna see this, and I want them to get a perspective of, who you were in high school. I think that's important. They see you every day, but they want to know what you were like when you were their age. So I appreciate you answering that. How did you get interested in your current career, and who was a motivating, or who or what was a motivating factor for you?
Well, I always wanted to be a police officer. That was never my mom can tell you, cops and robbers, that was my game. She always got calls about it because I was never going to be a robber. I was always going to be a cop. And I was about 5 watching Cops and not seeing females on it. When I was growing up, and I was just like, this is what I'm doing. Like, hands down, like I don't have anything else. This is what I'm doing. And I carried that out. As scary as things might be, like in this day and age or indifferent, I still enjoy being a police officer. The SRO program though, Officer Sutton, I think it was my junior or senior year of high school when he came over, and Officer Barney. But Officer Sutton, the way he, I guess, what's the word? He controlled the heartbeat of the school, and he was the police officer, not the principal, not anybody. Like, he controlled the heartbeat of the school, and he was the SRO. He was like the coolest guy. You could go to him about anything and everything. And I remember at a basketball game, he was just like, he was Sutton. Everybody loved Sutton, even the local drug dealers and indifferent that was coming to like watch the game at the school. Officer Sutton was the man, and I was just like, if I ever get a chance, I definitely would do that if I became a police officer, wanting to be a SRO. Like, still to this day, they have something called the National Association for School Resource Officers, which is NASRO, that's what it stands for. We recently had a conference. What was that? Almost 2 years ago now, and he is still a SRO, and he is still there. And I got a chance to see him. I got a chance to now see his nephew, who also is a SRO. So there's a lot of Suttons that made it through the whole academy and the whole process and indifferent to become an SRO. So that's a cool legacy for him. And seeing him and being an SRO, he was just like, open arms and like giving me all the wisdom that he could and indifferent. But it was cool seeing him. And it was like they were stuck in a time warp because they look the exact same way, and I'll be 34. They look the exact same way as they did when I was 15. Yeah. So it was cool. So that's more or less how I got into it.
So you're hoping that you don't age, basically, is what you're telling me. Is that
I hope I look like that. Like, he looked like he was in a time warp. Like, he looked the same way, like the same way.
Good. So what did it take for you to get to your current position, and what certifications or schooling did you have to have?
Well, I wanted a degree before I was applying and things like that, but I wanted a degree before I went into like the police world. Not to say that you still can't get a degree. It's just much harder once you're in there. If you do have kids, I did. I had a daughter at the time. Kids, you got other things going on. You got cases, you got this, you got that. And now you're trying to do school and police work. I just didn't want to go into it and not have a foot in the door. I'm currently in school to get my bachelor's degree, and I want to further that as well. But it's still difficult now because I'm working. Granted, we're online, but this is stuff that I wish I would have gotten all together, but I didn't. But however, I did get my associate's degree before I became a police officer. You don't have to, but I would have some sort of a foundation in education. So just in case you get in here and it's not for you, you have another avenue, or just in case you get in and you want to promote, like, that puts points on your interviews. That makes you a little better than somebody else. Even with their experience, you have the degree. It looks a whole lot better for resume purposes. And just for you alone, it's a whole lot better, because school and education, growth. You constantly want to grow. You constantly want to progress, and indifferent. You don't want to be the same person each year round. Like, you want to be something different. So certifications do come about in your trainings and different things that you can acquire while you're a police officer as well. So, I mean, if you did get certain certifications, they would have came from the academy or indifferent, but the real nitty gritty or important ones definitely come from like your trainings that you can obtain while being a police officer.
Awesome. And I think that's beneficial. Just anybody that's interested in hear this on, what it really takes, because some people don't really know. They have the dream, but they don't know the steps in order to get there. So I appreciate that. What would you say is the most difficult part of your job, or what is the most rewarding part of your job?
I would say on patrol, it was less rewarding because I never seen like the aftermath of like what we came to do. Like we were the hero for like one night and then that's it. Being a school resource officer, I enjoy being able to touch the community. Um, and not just have it be like a one stop thing, because I will continue to see like the parents, continue to see like the children, and for me, the enjoyment I get is changing the perspective of police. I love when the kids like, you're not like a regular police officer. That's great. I'm definitely human first, regardless about how anybody ever looks at it. My personality will come through with whatever I'm doing, and I don't want to be police. I want to be the person that you're coming to. Yes, this is my career, yes. But I want you to be able to come to me and talk to me and not have it be, oh, well, I can't say that because you're the police. No, what's going on? Like, need to know so we can better help you and better assist. But I love changing that perspective of police. Like, we're not all bad, and we all come from different backgrounds, have different experiences. I can relate probably way more than than you're expecting. Um, but I enjoy that part. I enjoy when you get parents that hate police or don't like police. Or, I mean, Black History Month. I have parents that I've heard don't really deal well with Black people, but you came in here and hugged me, and you no longer seen the uniform, the color of the skin. All you seen was the person.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you enjoyed however I helped your child or indifferent, and the conversation piece after that. So I've changed more than one perspective in that, and I enjoy that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Is there a difficult part of what you currently do now as SRO? Like, have you had difficult moments? Like, what would you say is the most difficult? I know patrol is tough. The patrol is on its own, but like being in the building, what's like the toughest part for you?
The toughest part for me, I mean, it's not many, but for me, I'm here and I'm supposed to keep everybody safe. So working together in that is rewarding, and also is backlash, because how I see things is not always how other people see things. And I just want things to go extremely well because I want my kids to be safe, want the building to be safe, and have an awesome deterrent that I'm on board with everything. However, um, I would say missing something for me, missing something important. Um, I can't say that we really had certain situations like that, like here, but it would be missing something important. And I honestly hate when I have to be the police in the sense of maybe taking legal action because a child chose to do X, Y, Z. I don't enjoy that part at all. Um, because for me, I feel like, a learning process did take place on both parts, but it's still hard to like, you see your children every day and you experience them every day. So it's like when they go off and do something, or they're really influenced by the world or outside of here, it's super hard to like to deal with, because it's like you don't have to be like that. Like, we give you so much here, and so many resources. If you needed something, everybody is an ear away. And with shake and move to do, whatever is necessary for you and your family. And Winter's Mill definitely has, I've seen that hands down, Christmas time, having given to like families. And I mean, really giving, not like, not saying that anybody else's gifts are like bad, but they're not rinky dink gifts. Like, they're realistic, like Nike stuff that kids can be proud of, and they're not embarrassed to like wear or indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
Food. When the pandemic started, like that was a big thing, reaching out to different families that they knew hardship was like taking place. But if you don't say anything or do anything, and now you taking things in your own hands, I hate that. I absolutely do, because there's so much more out here for them. So just I guess the decline in growth, I would say, is like hard for me to like take on, because it's like it's so much out here, so
Right.
much love, so much things out here that you don't really need to embark on the negativity of the world.
Right. Right. Awesome. So from an African American and definitely a female perspective, have you had to deal with racial issues growing up or as you transitioned to your current position?
I would say, I mean, growing up, yes. That's like with hands down. Being within the sheriff's office, I've had things be very different, like passive aggressive, dealing with like racism or just lack of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Not giving me, I get me or anybody else that looks like me like the opportunity. I am the only Black female that the sheriff's office has. That's not a knock or indifferent to
Are
them.
you the first?
I am the first of my kind for full service sheriff's office. I'm the first for that. Yes, I am the first of my kind for that.
Oh, this is
However, that's
this
not a
is
knock.
historic interview right here. Let
It
me
is.
archive this.
It is. And just to make it clear, that's not a knock or anything like that to them. I'm very proud of that. And I've made different strides. I don't know how I maybe change people's perspective or indifferent. But I do know I've had wonderful lieutenants and supervisors that have helped me navigate through some of the challenges with being Black and being a female. And they were not a lot of them were not my color. They were white. But they, were definitely equipped enough, I guess, to help me navigate because it was very different. And then finding your place too as a female in a male dominant field, taking like that control, that boldness, that authority, and walking in it and not being afraid to tell the truth, or not being afraid to tell your truth or what we're doing. Because a lot of the times you go into situations and you are the solution, whether you feel like you are or not, you are the solution and they're waiting on you to solve the problem. And a lot of the times you don't feel adequate, I would say, because either you're told, you weak, or we'll take care of it. Or, I've had my old supervisor tell me one time we had a hands-on situation take place. And he said, well, I was surprised that you helped me because you are female. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, well, my response was, well, when he's done beating on you, who's next? And he started laughing. But I said, we came in here as a team, and regardless about how everything like works out, like, don't ever expect me not to be there. Mm-hmm. That's never in my character anyway, not to be there. If I can be a resource, if I can be a solution or something, I'm good on being used in that manner. But I mean, it's different. It's different, and it has been different. But I think with just powering through it and learning the wisdom and sometimes being quiet and sometimes letting them know, like, we're not doing it this way, we're doing it that way. It's a big thing. And being in male dominated, sometimes it's not wanted, but I can care less. I've never not kicked doors open. So I think that's the overall for me of how I carry and will continue to carry that.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your honesty because that's a tough question to answer. But like I said, I think it's pertinent to, the celebration of Black History Month, and I'd be remiss if I didn't go there. But I commend you for all that you do and being, that beacon of light for others, because I hope that there is, and I know there will be others because of you and what you're doing. So I appreciate you answering that. Who was and or still is a hero for you in your life, and what gives you motivation?
I would have to say a hero for me would be my mother. Just because how strong she is. My mom, I probably seen her cry. We joke about this, my sisters and I, probably like a couple times. She's never just laid down and just took anything. She's always been out the gate running. She's very educated. My mom is a registered nurse. Very educated. She's traveled all over doing different things, whether it be business trips or however you put it. She's always been a solution. My mom also was really big on making sure that we had God in our lives, and that's how she like told us that she sustained through like a lot of different things. And I would just honestly have to commend her on that and just never quitting. Like my mom, we joke all the time, but we would go to the grocery store and pick some out, even at an older age. And she'd be like, "Oh, so I'm supposed to pay for that?" And we'd be like, "Man, you the thousandaire. Don't do that." So we know like that her status, she's worked extremely hard to get to where she is. And I just appreciate like seeing her be strong, even though she didn't want to. And my mom is the youngest girl, but has led the family for a long time. When my grandmother got sick, my mom was just cleaning the house, cooking, doing everything. And her older siblings always look to Jenny for like the answers, in the sense, because she is not willing to just be like, "Oh, she's sick, we have nothing to eat." Cool. My mom, we got a cookbook, got a little piece of change together from cleaning homes and everything else. Like she was doing it. She was not willing to lay down. And my sisters and I definitely have that personality, or that token, that I'm not willing to lay down and just take anything. If you want it, you go after that thing like you wouldn't believe. And what else did you ask? I'm sorry. You said hero, and what else?
What gives you motivation?
Motivation, I would say my legacy for my kids. I definitely, how I just talked about my mom, I would love for my kids to one day, even behind my back or eulogy or whatever, have all of these things to like say about me, and to have a lot of things to strive for, regardless about when I got it, how I got it, or indifferent. It was always on the up and up. I always put God first. I would love for them to have so much more to say, and so much more to like pass down to like generations. And wealth is more than just money. So I definitely want them to have so much more. So I would say my legacy, which would be them.
Very, very nice. I'm sure Juju will be happy to hear.
Oh, she be elated to know that.
If you had one do-over in life, what would that do-over be, and why?
A do-over? I don't know if I would take the do-over. Maybe, I mean, something small like getting the degrees that I wanted, but the do-over for me, I don't think I would be who I am if I had the do-over. Because a lot of challenges, a lot of experiences, a lot of wisdom. And the do-over, what if it doesn't include the right people that poured into me, or I miss a step, or you restart something and I never get to this place? I don't think that the do-over for me would be as adequate. That I would want to push it if it was a button or something, whether I would want to push that. Because I honestly think the experiences, wisdom, and everything that has carried out, I wouldn't be who I am. So I don't think I want the do-over. I think I'm okay with adding to if need be, but I don't think I want the do-over.
You're not going in the time machine. You're like, nah, I'll pass.
No, because I don't want to miss anything.
Right.
I've met a whole lot of great people up until now, and I know that will still continue, and getting a chance to do a lot of great things that not everybody gets a chance to do, or wants to do, or indifferent. I don't want that to be changed. Right. And I think the do-over, if I missed anything, heck no. I enjoy like I don't want the do-over. Man, I don't want the do-over.
Awesome. What does Black History Month mean to you?
Black History Month means a lot of pride, a lot of power in that, also a lot of sacrifice. My biological mom's father, which would be my grandfather, played for the Negro League. So when he traveled around and he played for the Black Sox, he was I think a shortstop. When he traveled around and he talked when he was alive, I got a chance to witness that in my elementary school. Didn't know that they were coming, and they came, and he played with Satchel Paige, and he didn't play with Jackie Robinson, but he got a chance to play with Satchel Paige. And when he talks about like all of the sacrifice and different things that he went through to get to where he was, it's a sense of pride, like in it. Creativity, like integrity, joy, like it's a lot. I feel like for Black History, just learning, and we learn something new every year that comes about, with just different things and just seeing, not knocking anybody else's race or indifferent, but just being able to see Black people in a different light. Not just like I hate it and I still do. Slavery for me was not Black history. It was a portion that interrupted it, but it wasn't Black history.
Right.
And I hate to see roots and all that other kind of stuff, but I know we have to take all of that in account. But I appreciate seeing the kings and the queens, or the innovators, the people that created different things, and have them look like me, or look like my mom, or look like my kids, or indifferent. I enjoy all of that and the creativity of us. And I don't, and we're not seen in, not to say that we're always seen in a bad light, but Black History Month really shines a light on the positivity of it. And I enjoy that. So that's what Black History Month means to me.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack with Black History Month. And I feel like for me, I find out more things every day. So I make it like a lifelong goal of mine to find out as much as I can about my own people, because there's a lot of information that's just not out there, or wasn't out there, that's prevalent now. That I just immerse myself in it all the time, because you find out more about yourself the more you find out about your history. So that's awesome. So I got one more question for you.
Sure.
What advice would you give yourself when you were 17 years old?
Oh man.
So if you had to go back, I think it's a Dave Chappelle skit or something like, different versions of yourself, 17, 24, the 17-year-old you, if you had to sit down, the age you are now, and say, look, let me have this conversation. Let me tell you some things. What would you say?
I would say to the 17, man, thinking that I was a big girl then, Lord. It's like I'm joking. But no, 17, I would tell myself to love myself more. And to be just as bold as I was, and fearless as I was as a kid. Because of course, as a kid, you don't think anything can happen to you. So you're willing to take those certain risks, to step out there and maybe go and get that job that you wanted, and don't let anything stand in your way. I would tell myself to constantly do that, and to not let anybody talk me out of what God told me in behind closed doors, or indifferent who I was. I would not allow that, because a lot of the times we get stuck into, you may tell a friend or something like that, or I'm supposed to be this, and they're like, man, we don't see that. Don't let them talk you out of that. What you heard is what you, and who you're supposed to be, it's going to be. And don't let them, because the only person that can take you away from your dreams and indifferent is you. So I would tell my 17-year-old self, do everything that you can, get all the education that you can, grow, and get as much wisdom as you can, because you're going to need it. And to just be as bold and courageous and fearless, and go after whatever it is that you want. And don't stop that. And continue to grow mentally. And don't worry about who ain't like you and indifferent. It don't really matter when you on top of things. So life is a lot different. So don't worry about being and who don't like you and indifferent. Stick with the tribe that is taking you somewhere, that celebrates you, and not like they're super negative. If you get a car, or you get the school that you wanted, or indifferent, and they're super negative about it, or indifferent, keep and stay with the tribe that is rooting for you and loves you unconditionally, and that you can love them unconditionally, and want to see you going somewhere. Stay away from the friends that their future, they're choosing for it not to be bright. But yours is different. Always stay peculiar, stay bright, continue to grow, and progress is as much as you can. And stay fearless, because you're going to need it. Because if fear gets in the way, my mom always used to tell us, do it scared. If you got to do something in the academy, I did a lot of things scared, but I did them. Because don't let fear stand in your way, because it does nothing. It's an illusion of what it is. Just go ahead and go forward, and keep it moving. And if you have to do it, like my mom said, do it scared, and bring it right along with you. So, and get all the education. Lord, that's important. Education keeps you growing, keeps you sharp. It keeps you in the know, because get it, taxes, credit, all of any real estate, get all the education you can, because Lord knows you get older and you don't have things, people take advantage of you. So get all the education you can. And that's what I would tell my 17-year-old self.
Well, good stuff. And the reason why I asked that is because, like I said, a lot of kids, they're going to see this, and I think that it's important for them to know some advice that they may be able to take with them as they continue to learn and grow into adulthood. So I appreciate you taking the time out today out of your busy schedule, and being the guinea pig with this has been phenomenal. Like I said, I think that your story is great, and we've talked individually, and there's probably a whole lot more for Deputy Blackwell, but for these particular questions, I knew I was going to get what I wanted. So I appreciate you, for doing that.
Oh, you're welcome, but I would not have not done it. So I would not have not done it.